It's a Spiritworks Cinema, where we watch all the movies. Today we have a special request, The Executioners of Shaolin, directed by Kar-leung. That's his Cantonese name. His Mandarin name is Chia-Liang. So, you know, whatever you see his name listed as, same dude. The old man from Drunken Master 2 that fights under the train, plus a million other movies. Fantastic director. We have with us our guest reviewer, Kung Fu Ben here. He is a connoisseur of the Kung Fu film. So we've just finished watching this together. This was, I'm assuming this was asked for because of the relation to Kill Bill. It's a little bit of an odd title choice from Kung Fu in general, and out of Kar-leung's movies, this is not the worst, nor is it one of the best. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle. This has Chen as the main star. He's been in a ton of Kung Fu flicks and a million other things. He was even in last year's Once Upon a Time in Shanghai. So the guy's been around forever and does a good job in this. Let's talk about this cover.
Yeah, so first off, this cover is nothing about this is anywhere in the movie. Same thing with the back.
Is that Liu Kang? That looks like Scorpion almost.
No, I think that's supposed to be the brass.
Yes, the training dummy.
Yes. So I think that's supposed to be the training dummy, but he never used a sword against it. First off, and
that
also
is true.
Important to notice here is that you'll notice his hair is kind of wild in this one, and not in the Chun-Li buns that was actually he had in the movie.
And he does. And Chun-Li buns, or whatever you want to call them, they were, oh my god, he looks like a goof. And then on the back we have our
Pai Mei's head photoshopped onto a Japanese warrior's body with a katana that he totally wielded in the movie, like, all the time. I mean, seriously, he had like 8 katanas.
So, okay, while the Dragon Dynasty, the prints are really good. It does have original Mandarin, as well as an English dub. It's the 2.0 soundtrack. It doesn't have any of the weird extra sounds. I don't personally care about those, but I know some people are really bothered by those. And it is its original aspect ratio. That's all good. I don't know what the hell their problem is with these covers. They go so... I mean, all of them are like... They're just so strange. And maybe somebody's going to think it's a brand new movie and buy it, I guess. But, I mean, everybody should be buying Kung Fu movies anyway. So let's talk about this plot. So, the movie... It seems like it should have been about a 100-part series with the amount of time that's covered. Because I think we got at least... 27 years total.
No, I think it was... No, let's see here.
No, it was 17 years from the kid.
17 years from the kid, and then 18. Another year on 18 on that one. So he was 18 years old at the end of the movie.
But they were on the boat for at least 9 months prior.
Yeah, so we're talking probably...
Then they got married, and it was another 9 months. So,
so we're probably talking like 21 years or so that this movie took place over.
So, of course, it's about revenge. The main guy's master is killed in the opening scene. The opening scene is traditional of a lot of the Shaw Brothers movies, where it's like just on a colored set and it's 2 dudes fighting kung fu. But it's a really cool fight scene because Pai Mei is the nut master, and he's got really good sack of balls. So the opening fight scene is actually really fantastic and leads up to that where you're kind of like, what? So, yeah, there's going to be some spoilers here, but if you're spoiled on a movie from like 40-something years ago, whatever. It's a cut. You don't care anyway. You watch them to watch the Kung Fu. So, after that, they... that was their master being killed, so we learned that he was killed, and they immediately cut to the students fleeing from the whatever raid with random arrows in them, and they get ransacked by Pai Mei, where we get a great fight with one of the head students.
Yes.
And he fights to the death.
Yes.
Quite well. Great choreography again. Very solid era Kung Fu scenes.
Taking on like 18 dudes at the same time. Pretty awesome stuff.
And he's so hardcore though.
Yeah, oh man, that was amazing.
That he dies mid-Kung Fu.
Yeah, so apparently this man has mastered a style of Kung Fu that when you die, you turn into a statue. So he dies, and with a jillion arrows in him, by the way. And so he dies standing, holding 2 guys' throats, just eyes wide open, standing there. He's dead. That's it.
And
Cut
Pai Mei
scene.
gives him a lot of recognition for being such a total.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't Pai Mei. It was the governor dude.
Oh, it was the governor.
It was
Right,
the man
right. Pai Mei wasn't there.
Yes.
Yeah, the pretty boy. I'm not really sure what was going on there. There's an interesting subtext of relationship between Pai Mei and the governor guy. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, we're not going to comment on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, with a lot of the kung fu movies, sometimes watching them in their original language does make them less easy to mock. Because a lot of the translations are so horrible, like they didn't actually even watch the movie, they're just making shit up.
Right.
So it doesn't even make sense. So at least you don't have that aspect. But, you know, one of the things to remember, too, when the Shaw Studios really cranked these out, and you had a few visionary directors like Chang-Chi and Kar-leung who did these better versions. I mean, there are a lot of crap kung fu out there, don't get me wrong. And this seems more like it was definitely a lower budget affair, and it's a little bit earlier in his career as well. You know, so you've got you can tell kind of cheapness on the sets here and there.
Yeah, there's only like 4 sets I think in the movie.
Yeah, besides the outdoor in the forest stuff.
Yeah. So
you know, you got that going on, but when they meet the girl who is played by Lieh, best name ever. And she's the little kung fu chick, and she's actually pretty good choreographer. She's
yeah, she was actually quite good. Actually, she had some of the best choreography probably in the movie.
Yeah, that was actually great. Yeah, she did a really good job. So at that point we're introduced, her and the main character have a love story, and it gets
that
on
just
this
instantly appears. By the way,
and
no courtship, no anything. They're just in love.
Right, and we understand that, and then we go on for about 20 minutes of this strange comedic expose, like a funny episode from a sitcom where they're trying to do the wedding, and then they're trying to have sex, and then don't
forget the part about the scene cuts. You're forgetting all the scene cuts there. So you gotta do the haha, we should get ready for the wedding, and so they did.
yeah, literally, it was. They say, haha, you guys look like you should be married. It cuts, and then they're doing the wedding. Now, we actually didn't understand it was the wedding at this point because they were just setting off firecrackers, and all of a sudden we realized several months had gone by and there was a wedding. There's a lot of really jerky time jumps there.
Time jumps, yes.
Like, okay. The humor, I mean, it was there. You know, a lot of the Shaw Brothers kind of did it, but it just seemed very soap opera-y when it came in.
The kung fu bedroom scene was entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah, she does challenge him to demonstrate the strength of his kung fu in bed. So in order to, get the banger, he's got to kung fu her properly. While it was stupid, it was actually pretty funny to watch.
It was kind of entertaining, at least. It was entertaining.
Yes, definitely entertaining. And so they go on, and he's got to, so of course they finally have sex because his kung fu was proven to be good.
Yes, he finally mastered the kung fu.
And 9 months later, she has a baby because that's how it works.
Yes.
If you have good kung fu, you make a baby.
Yes.
In 9 months.
Yes. Who is then, the baby is, don't forget, instantly born. Right, baby's instantly born.
No, she's born because we heard her sounds. They were similar to, I don't know who thought that was the sound of a woman's childbirth, but I'm sure every woman wishes that was the sound of childbirth.
And so then you just hear baby, and then cut, and 6 months later.
Again, yeah.
So, and then now the baby's 6 months old, and then after that they talk about that he needs to train up his
now
kung
he needs
fu.
to go. He forgot his kung fu for a while.
He forgot his kung fu for a while, and so now he needs to train for 10 years. And so now it's 10 years later.
It's a montage, but it is a 10-year montage.
Well, not really a montage, it was just cut. It was just cut in 10 years.
He punched trees.
Yeah, he punched trees for 10 years and grew a Freddie Mercury mustache that was important.
That showed he was older.
Yes, to show he was older, exactly.
So, when he goes to fight Pai Mei, gets his ass kicked, and realizes he doesn't have the kung fu skills to beat him. But he lives this time, so he decides he has to study again.
For 7 years this time.
It's only 7 years this time.
Only 7 years.
Because he's got to learn he's got to learn to hit the vital points between 1 and 3 p.m.
Yes, that's important. Yeah, you can only attack your opponent between 1 and 3 p.m. Otherwise, he's immortal.
Because he has vital points, and they move during those times.
Yes,
too,
yes.
Which we discover because he finally, after he beats on his ball-bearing metal thing.
Yes, yes.
Which was a very, very interesting training thing. Apparently, if you punch it in the head, infinite ball bearings appear.
Yeah, it's like just like the greatest pinball machine that has ever existed, really. In all.
Now, visually, it's actually a pretty cool way to show a training kung fu scene.
To be honest, the prop was actually pretty awesome. So, I mean, they like created these little Plinko like style shoots for all these ball bearings. I mean, it was kind of a cool prop. I mean,
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool. and I'm sure, you know, Lau Kar-leung's gonna be kind of his grave and be like, I trained on that. Whoa, okay, dude.
Exactly.
But it was funny. So, again, I think the important part when watching any of these is try not to be too serious with it.
Right, exactly.
And these are made on low budgets, and they're a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I don't think any of them, especially the older ones, they were never quite taken too seriously. So he learns it, goes back and fights Pai Mei again, but this time he's better, but not good enough, and so Pai Mei uses the power of the nuts on him again. I don't understand.
Oh, yeah, he's got some sort of nut vacuum or something like that is able to grip a man's foot and haul a man bodily across the floor. So it's kind of impressive. I mean, really. I mean, if...
Yeah, so if you were ever working on any martial arts...
I'd recommend that one.
That is the key.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that. MMA fighters wouldn't even be ready for that shit.
I mean,
grab them with your balls and slam them on the ground.
I mean, destroy your opponents and please the ladies. I mean, that's really, yeah.
So, again, here's a spoiler. He dies, but if you couldn't see that coming, who knows? And his kid's going to avenge him. So, he's got to learn his father's kung fu, because he was trained in crane style. But crane style is for the ladies in this movie. And, you know, so he didn't get to learn Tiger. And so he finds the manual his father was using for Tiger, but it's basically destroyed. It's only halfway there. So he has to create his own. So how long did he train? It was like...
Oh, year. 1 year.
1 year. After 1 year...
He learned half of what his father learned in 17 years.
Right.
And made up the rest.
But he's ready now.
But he's ready.
So he goes to kick some ass, and... I kind of noticed here. I forgot who played the kid. I didn't recognize his name. I actually looked it up. I didn't really recognize him. But he was kind of slow. For his choreography was a bit slower than the other guys. So I'd say the weak point of the movie was kind of the first half of the final fight scene, because it was I don't know. I don't think the kid was as good.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, he was a little bit disappointing. He kind of looked like a young Jackie Chan knockoff.
He did kind of look like a young Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
But he was really silly, too, which kind of just lend
yeah, he was extra goofy. Yeah, he had that extra, like, humor thing. Oh, we forgot to talk about the guy. The second time he fights, he gets there and he's ready to fight, and he goes, oh, no, it's noon. Then he's fighting some guards. Then he's fighting Pai Mei. And he's like, it's 3 already.
Yeah, so they were fighting for 4 hours. Or 3 hours, sorry. 3 whole hours.
Hours of solid fighting.
That was depicted in a, what was it, like a 2 minute?
Yeah, maybe
2 minutes or so.
2 to 5
yeah,
at
2
most.
to 5 minutes or so.
It was hardcore, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm waiting for the 3-hour kung fu movie. I want to see the battle, the uncut version.
I assume that it takes place on a different planet. That's really my guess.
So the kid fights him. You know, he uses his unknown tiger tactic, and it surprises him, but then he kicks his ass some more, and he ends up using some technique that he kind of learned from playing with his father. And then there's a great ending scene where Pai Mei gets munched, and that part is awesome. So
yeah, that was
you gotta watch that part.
Yeah, that was fun. I recommend that part. That was
yeah,
that was pretty great.
What was a running time on this thing? It felt a little long. It is not listed. It was kind of paced a little slow, and I think some of that was some of the
completely unnecessary opening, or the completely unnecessary middle spot of developing the characters that you probably didn't really need to develop.
Right, because they're just going to die anyway. They weren't that important. And there was a lot of explaining.
Yes.
I mean, I get some of the explaining, but it's revenge. You killed my master. That's pretty much the whole thing. I don't need a lot. So I did kind of drag it down a little bit, but I'm guessing it was probably for the runtime to get it to be long enough for an international sale, because especially when these were made, you had to have a certain runtime or you couldn't get any distribution. And kung fu movies were actually popular at this time. They were sold all over the world.
It was the 70s.
In cinemas even.
That was the 70s, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was it's a cool flick. If you're looking for some Lau Kar-leung to start with, go with Legendary Weapons of Shaolin or any of the 36 Chambers films. That's definitely a much better intro, because those are just fantastic straight through. I mean, yes, you have some maybe better known actors, but again, this is by request, so it was a cool flick. I know I've seen this, but I don't think I've seen it for way forever.
Yeah, and I had never seen that one before, so that was interesting.
It's the joy of hunting down movies from directors. You get to find something that you're like, what is this one? So there it is, Execution of Shaolin. Let us know any other ones you want to hear about. Maybe tell us about some new ones, some other cool ones, and we'll see you here next time at Movie Mayhem.